Outnumbered overtime. Oh, gee, baby. So is the TV version of us wrapped up? Marie Harf dropped the little nugget like a little Tootsie Roll on the floor. We all crawled around and we're like, is that candy? She said that if Elizabeth Warren, or maybe even some others within the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders even,
not a Democrat,
gets the... Okay, if you don't consider either one of them Democrats.
No, Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He's an independent.
Nomination, she would handwrite in John Kasich on the ballot in 2020.
That's right.
What?
Bernie, well, but it was the conversation we were having because the Colonel thinks that the Democratic Party has already made a decision to go very far to the left. I see more of a fight in the party right now, and I'm trying to encourage it to go more towards the Blue Dog Democrats. But if they nominate Bernie Sanders, who technically is not a Democrat, he is still an independent. He never joined the party.
Well, what is Elizabeth Warren?
She's a Democrat, but I don't think that she should be our nominee. And yes, the courage that John Kasich, which I know Dagen will not call courage.
Here's my response.
I would rather vote for someone who is willing to show courage and standing up to achieve policy goals, even if some things I don't agree with, to actually have a leader who can govern.
No, here's my message to Democrats who like John Kasich. You can have him. Because he is acting
you all need him.
No, he's acted like during the entire repeal and replace process. He was the Chicken Little, the sky is falling. Don't you dare take away even some of my Medicaid funding over the next 20 years, because he doesn't know how to manage his Medicaid budget in the state, because he's a big spending liberal, and that's how he's acting.
Do you think there's not a place in the Republican Party for a governor like Kasich? And it's a totally serious question. Or Jeff Flake, some of these folks who've been speaking out. Do you think that there's not a place in the party?
I think
his message was wrong.
The Republican Party needs to decide who they are philosophically.
Right. As do we.
Yeah, but I think you already have made that decision, especially with the big check writers you have. But the Republican Party cannot stand up there and say, we're the party that wants to agree with the expansion of Medicaid. And say that we are the Republican Party. The Republican Party can't say that we want to keep taxes from the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act. That's fundamentally goes against who they say that they're supposed to be and who they run as.
That was my whole
right.
point. But I've used this statistic, which the Wall Street Journal editorial page published. But John Kasich's all funds budget in that state is more than 40%. It's about 43% goes to Medicaid. About 14% goes to K through 12 education. What does that say about your priorities? That basically funding health insurance for many of whom are able-bodied adults who should be out there paying for their own insurance, that's more important than educating your youth and your young and your children. And I think that that is a misplaced priority, and it just shows that just give me the money, just give me the money, I need more money, I need more money, and it's never enough.
All right, from the live chat right now, Dale Long says, and thank you all for watching us, watch and see how many Democrats get primaried if they help the Republicans with anything. They have all been threatened by leadership.
I agree.
I think Republicans also are going to possibly have some primaries, though.
Oh, without a doubt, but I think they're justified in having the primaries. I mean, there was a Texas billionaire who came out and said that he will fund a primary challenge to Senator Capito of West Virginia, Murkowski, Heller, and
that's the system. That's the system. Go out and challenge. If you don't like the person, go out and challenge and try to get them for their seat. Go for it.
Unless you're Tim Ryan up against Nancy Pelosi.
Well, but that's the sort of thing, I mean, that's just that classic fight that is as old as all of politics, is that Nancy Pelosi, she's incredible fundraising. Yes, with her, it seems like her nails are wet all the time. She's always trying to dry her manicure. Nancy Pelosi, she has a death grip on the party because she knows where all the bodies are buried. She knows how to raise money for anyone, and that's how she's held on. And at some point, this isn't, I mean, that's not unique to Democrats. That's
it's not.
All of politics.
It's true.
I was actually going to say that.
Who controls the money.
Shelley Moore Capito, I didn't come to Washington to hurt people.
That quote.
I hate that quote because, again, that is not the ideology of anybody who's conservative. She ate hook, line, and sinker what the Democrats were selling.
So,
all right, again, from the live chat.
The one thing that I said, as we were transitioning, the Democrat Party has got to find a General Kelly. because Tom Perez and Keith Ellison aren't the folks that are going to be able to go out there and connect with folks. And I admire you for saying that you're out there trying to resurrect the Blue Dog Democrat, because when I look at the people that are funding the Democrat Party right now, they don't want the Blue Dog Democrat. They don't want the conservative Democrat back. And so when you have a person like Joe Manchin, I mean, he's a voice out there crying in the wilderness.
Okay, from the live chat, 2 tons of fun. I don't know if that's a real person's, if that's a real name. I say keep going left. You still have plenty of seats to give up. And that's the point. If Democrats don't really understand, I mean, if they go down the Hillary Clinton, who just wrote a book, What Happened?
What happened? My goal is to have to never talk about that book.
It might be more interesting as a bestseller as What Happened was. But anyway, she just wrote this book, and is she going to be honest with herself about why your party has shed more than 1,000 seats across the board? If not, plenty of seats to give up, according to 2 tons of fun.
Well, I've said a number of times on this couch that I don't really care if Hillary Clinton ever realizes why she lost. I care about the next generation of party leadership. And there are people, Jason Kander in Missouri, Pete Buttigieg in Indiana, there are these rising stars in the Democratic Party that you are right, we have to nurture. And we are having an identity question in this party right now. But, that always kind of happens after you lose an election. After 2012, the Republican Party did the autopsy and they said, we need to get more Hispanic voters. And then they nominated Donald Trump. So, everyone who loses an election, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to a party. And these things are cyclical. So,
very true.
We'll see. My husband says it's cyclical. Yeah. Mary, thank you for your shout out. Aloha from Hawaii. Thanks for watching us. I love the palm trees. I don't think I have that emoji on my phone. I need to get that.
Oh, it must be.
Estenard, for some reason, says, Dagen, I got 50 cents, if that helps. I'm not sure what the question was a few moments ago. And Kevin Dubuque says, Melissa, how will Republicans raise taxes on the rich?
I don't think they're going to. I think that was a Steve Bannon thing. I think that it's possible when you do the math, if you get rid of the loopholes, some people are going to be surprised that they're going to end up paying more.
Yeah.
So there's that part of it, which is possible. I think it's... I mean, I don't think it ever makes sense to raise taxes on anybody for any reason ever.
But if you drive the rates down, it doesn't matter.
That's fine. No, I agree with you. I just think simplifying the tax code makes sense. I think lowering the rate makes sense. I think that the reason I agree with you, and we just didn't have time to go with it, this idea of trying to make things revenue neutral is such a BS tactic, because what we need to do is starve the government of funds so it shrinks. No one has the discipline to do that. Republicans do not have the discipline to do that, and that makes Dagen and I furious all the time. But you have to starve the beast in order to shrink it down. The bigger the government gets, it's just a drag on the economy overall, and it hurts the very people it's supposed to help.
Why do you guys think that once Republicans who run on shrinking the government actually get into government, that they come face to face with it and they're unwilling to do it?
Because money is power.
And it's pure politics.
It's pure politics, and they don't know how to.
I can tell you, because what happens is all of a sudden you get up there and you have all of those lobbyists that come to visit you. They take you to breakfast, they take you to lunch, they take you to dinner. You never have to go to the Chick-fil-A or the Subway
or the Waffle House
if you don't want to. And the thing is that comes with the price.
But I think that's partially true. But I think it's also
I'm telling you,
it's also the fact they don't want to lose their job and they want to be reelected. And if you bring less money home to your state, whoever you disappoint is going to vote for you again.
Do you think they see some benefits from some of this spending for their constituents? I'm actually asking a totally honest question.
It's not the benefit. It's the fact that they don't know how to give the money back once they've got it. It goes back to the entire Medicaid reform that the Republicans were trying to push through. Is once you have an entitlement, you can't take it away. And to your point, I want to just make, if I haven't been clear enough, the Republicans who have stood by and let that Obamacare tax on higher earning Americans on investments that they make. The Republicans who stood by and let that stay in place, you did raise taxes. That's true. You did raise taxes on higher earning Americans in this
that's true.
All right, with the time we have left, real quickly, they're all VARR is this person's handle. Harris, please address Marie saying that this is not how things get done. Threatening senators is exactly how presidents get things done. In 240 years of the United States, this has always been true.
It's true.
Your thoughts?
Reagan did it, but he did not do it in a public manner.
Exactly.
And that's what I think you need you need to have that decorum. And again, that's a good thing about having a General Kelly who can call a senator, maybe call someone and say, hey, look, maybe you ought to think about this because the president is not exactly excited about the position you're taking.
The first thing that you think John Kelly ought to attack as he walks into the White House. Now, we know yesterday Anthony Anthony. His position was eliminated for him.
Messaging. It's got to be messaging.
Yep. All right. Thanks for joining us, Colonel.
My pleasure.
West on deck today.
Thank you.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.